I'm Aisha. I'm Jasmine.
And I'm 12.
And we're IJT Productions.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another video from IJT Productions, and we are IJT, Aisha, Jasmine, 12, 28. And today we're talking about age and something I like to call being washed up, right? Uh, and age is a very uh, taboo thing, right? And when we talk about age, in society, you're supposed to have certain things by a certain age. You're supposed to be married by a certain age. You're supposed to have kids by a certain age. You're supposed to, have your own apartment at a certain age. You're supposed to not be going to the club at a certain age. All of these things, right? So I'm gonna just pass it to the, the individual that I don't know if it's Auntie Aisha today. I don't know. She got the glasses down. The
It
glasses
might be
got to stay
each
down.
granny. What do you want,
Granny,
Sugarfoot? What is it?
Granny. Um,
Come on,
but
Isha.
when yeah, so with age, have you struggled with ageism, whether it's career, personal life, things like that? How is your experience with being washed up? How's that going for you?
Well, first of all, 12, if you must know, every time you say washed up or age, I literally transform into this. This is how I feel when 12 says that. But that a sign of endearment, like, I'm mature, I can't do this, I've got my maturity level, so I know what I can and cannot do. I can't be out here running these streets. But for me, age is I think it's a beautiful thing. We know age, not all things with age doesn't necessarily come with maturity. We've seen some old people who act buck wild, Trump. Not shame to him. But when I think of it, I think of age as like a beautiful thing. I never thought about like my age right now, like being terrified of it. Like I've always been excited to be my birthday, like, you know what I'm saying, like, or being 32. Like I don't have a problem with it, but people be like, oh, you asked a woman their age, or you asked this and that. It's like, yeah, it's a number. It's your experience. I know how that could be rude to some people, but it doesn't bother me. Well, what bothers me with my age is that if I get to a place where, I'm just mean, I haven't learned anything, I'm not growing, I'm stagnant, and I'm aging and I'm still in the same place, that is what will really bother me with age. And that would be my definition. When I think of washed up, that's what I think of. But 12 had to bring me down to his endearment vocabulary. So I was like, okay, I got it. I get your vernacular. But my experience of age, I haven't experienced it much until in the workforce. When you start working in like human services, I always had older, like I would say mature coworkers. So it was always fun to be around like the older ones. So they have experience, they talk to you, they're like aunties and uncles on the job. But I would say recently as I get older, and God bless me for still looking young, I guess. I guess with certain people, one of my coworkers made a comment and she was like, oh, you're kind of young, so you wouldn't know this or that. She didn't know I had experience of what she was talking about. And I was just like, And she was an older woman. It's like, okay, cool. And I could, and I had that opportunity where it was like, I could violate. I could say this and like, nip you in the butt. I was like, you know what, Lord? I'm on my business. Peace be still. She's obviously older. I'm going to respect her and not embarrass anything or anyone. But it gave me that reflection of how she was older. She was projecting on me because she thought I was younger, that I would hold something against her for being older, which I don't. I love all ages because I feel like at the place that I've always been, you can learn from everybody. Like when I was working with kids, I learned from little kids about like, I was in a daycare. I learned from little kids about, what was it? A praying mantis. I was like, what? Freaked me out. They were like literally wasn't terrified, but the teachers assisted me at the time. I was terrified, but I learned it from older people because they always come with like wisdom, and people, even our peers. So that's my whole experience on age. But I love aging. Now I got a wrinkle and like 5 strands of gray hair that I'm still healing from, but it is what it is. So I know cocoa butter, Vaseline, and Shea Moisture gonna have my back. But other than that, and if you live right, eat right, it's gonna be good. But Jasmine, darling, how do you feel about aging, and what has your experience has been like for you?
So funny because every time I'm with Isha, I'm like, respect your elders.
To this day, we the same year, but to this day.
Yeah, we're the same age, but because I'm like a couple of months older than her, I'm like respect your elders. No, but I just feel, you know what? I feel like, yes, I was into that part of the crowd where I'm like, I'm 33. I should have my own place. Yes, I still live with my parents. What a kid. I should have my own place. Well, actually, I did have my own place back then in a car and all that stuff. But you know, now 33, I feel like I should have my own home. I should be married again. Have a family. Have like a top paying job now. You know, like I feel like I should be more settled and not starting out my dream. Like really started it out right now. And then I'm like, wow, I'm 33, like in 7 years I'll be 40. It doesn't seem like it, but yes, I put my age out there. 7 years I'll be 40, like, oh my gosh, you know. And I'm just like freaking out, like people gonna look at me like I'm old, like they don't think I'm gonna be young and stuff like that. So how am I? Listen, I'm still learning how to use TikTok and all that stuff, okay? So bear with your girl. What I call Insta and not IG. But like for me personally, like I don't feel, now that I'm learning to embrace my age and love, I love where I'm at right now. Like I love being 33. I love being the point in time where I'm single because I'm learning myself. So when 12 was talking about washed up and he say, oh, like, yeah, we washed up, that means that there's a time limit and you need to get the crack in, because when you're 35 and middle age and you don't have it, that's it for you. Like there's no more washing up to do. Like now you just dried up, like you gone. You know. So I'm like, well, what's the next thing he gonna say? So let me hurry up and let me get on my grind, because I don't want to be washed up like the rest of the people or whoever not doing anything. I don't want to be in that category. But not saying that y'all washed up, but anyway, I just have to say that, you know, it's scary to think about, but now that when I think about washed up, it's just more so like, okay, you know what? We need to be on a hustle. Let's strive for this dream. Let's go after it. You know, it's like a do or die moment. Like there's no turning back. Now when I think of like we washed up, we got nothing to lose now. That's what I think of it now. So yeah.
So, and that was well said. And I just want to give context so for the people that's watching, um, you'll see washed up as a thing in Singleville, um, particularly with my character.
Yes,
But yes, it is a mindset, you know, because you know certain things are just not acceptable at certain ages because you do have to evolve, you do have to mature, and that's the most important thing. Whether you're 35, 25, 15, 45, 55, maturity is really what counts, and wisdom is what counts, and how you apply it. So if you are a person that you're not getting it, like you're going through the same cycle over and over again, you're not progressing. Um, you should feel washed up if it's like that. I keep getting into bad relationship after bad relationship, but still moving as if you don't have any adjusting to do. And I think that's really more so what it is, just more so of just adjusting the mindset of, oh, I got time to do my business. Yeah, I'll wait till I turn this in. Oh, I'll start going to the gym next year. I don't need to work out right now. I look good. No, get in the gym now. Make this a habit now. Get your credit right now. Start saving now. Start doing these things now because you don't want to get to the point where you're much older and you're not as physically active as you were in your 20s. Your knee hurting, your back hurting, and this and that. And now this is when you got to do the work, the most work now. that's not where you want to be. And there's certain stereotypes of the old man in the club, right? A cougar, right? There's certain stereotypes with certain ages when you get to a certain point in life. There's certain things, but even back in the day, I know like in the South and stuff like that, like if you 27, girl, when you get married, you don't got no kids yet. You know, those are questions that people ask you.
Yeah.
So um, so that's just a thing. So I know when somebody is 50, right, talking about, yeah, I'm about to put this mixtape out, it's like, bruh, like, like you still trying to put this, come on, you know. So at a certain point, age is a thing. So it's not my thing personally because I believe in being as youthful as you can possibly be, meaning that you are always learning and always opening your mind to be refreshed and understanding the times. But we do have to be realistic as far as not wasting the time that you have,
Mm-hmm.
not utilizing the moments when you have them. So a lot of times people, you know, here washed up, it's like, you know, like they say that in NBA terms too. Like if a player is like in his 30s or he washed up, he can't play no more. But it's like he might be good for them 4 points off the bench. You know, you take them 4 points, and when they count, you take them 4 points. Or Tom Brady, the biggest thing with Tom Brady's in his 40s still playing football, and it's like, oh, he washed up, he can't play, he don't need to be playing football, he need to sit down, he a grandfather. You know, that's what people perceive things to be. So I know for me, I'm 29, it's my last year and my 20s. So I'm ready to go into my 30s now, and I'm excited about my 30s because I'm going to take the experiences and the lessons that I learned in my 20s and use that as wisdom to achieve the things that I want to achieve for myself. So I don't subscribe to like, oh well, I'm still young. No, it's like that's not something I want to squander away. I don't want to squander away my youth with not being active and pursuing things that I really want because I just feel like I got all the time in the world because we just don't know. That's one thing we don't know. We don't know how much time we do have. So it's best to utilize the time that we have. So with ageism, I've experienced similar things that you said with in the workforce. Like my birthday is in December and it's the 12/28. So I'm always the youngest everywhere. In school, work, you born in December, you the last. So I always hung around and worked with older people. So they always felt like, oh, you don't know what that is. So you ain't lived yet. You don't know nothing. And it's like, quiet as kept. I know a thing or two, right? And within the workforce, like you said, having those work aunts, those work uncles, work cousins that's older than you to kind of give you game and show you certain lessons and show you different information that's like, oh, y'all going through that. Okay, maybe I could go this way, or preparing you for certain things that you probably want to start saving or look into doing this with your money or do, just little gems is that's available. So being washed up, I actually think it's a beautiful thing because, like I said, it's a mindset. I think it's just a mindset as far as understanding that you have the time to make the best of your life. So if you don't have kids at a certain time, or if you're not married yet, or you're not at a certain place that you want to be, listen, if that's what you really want to do, like put one foot in front of the other and start taking the action. Don't waste time because you don't want to get to the place where you finally get those things and again you can't enjoy it for the time that you can enjoy it because all you've done is work so hard and it's like when you get there it's like I'm 60 now and it's like I don't even want to be married no more. Like you know what I'm saying, I didn't dudes that want to be players forever and it's like now you finally ready to settle down at 65 and you only got like 4 years left in your life, you know, because of the lifestyle. So we gotta make it make sense. So that's really the context of being washed up. It is a joke. I be saying I'm washed up, but I don't wake up feeling like I'm old. You
Mhm.
know, even when I go out and things like that, people don't know my age, people be like, "Oh, I thought you was like 21, or you look like you're in your early 20s," and it's like I'm about to be 30. So so it's like okay. So I don't. It's I'm not really versed in the TikTok, and sometimes I do be feeling kind of like certain places in life. I do be feeling like yeah, I'm out of touch. Certain aspects, like with technology and certain things that's going on social media and the music people listen to. But I feel great in life, and I'm excited about my 30s. I'm not ashamed, like, oh, I'm not having a crisis, like I'm about to be 30. Oh my God. Like, nah, it's like 30s is about to be lit. Like I'm about to I'm about to go into a nice zone for my 30s. And my 20s was really good too, So I'm just excited about life overall in general. So no matter what age I'm gonna be at, that's just the mindset I would like to always have, is just being excited about life and the journey of it all.
Well, that's what's up.
That is.
Yeah.
I,
So
I it's real because
yeah,
speaking of the out of touch with like certain things, it's the music for me. We talk
yeah,
about some of the kids listening to certain rap songs. I'm like, after Big Sean, J. Cole, and Kendrick, I don't know nobody else.
right,
Other than like
right.
like the mainstream ones, but like I
Yeah.
did the gibberish rap. I was like, once everybody started sounding like Future, I was like, I didn't, baby, I don't know them. I never met
Hmm.
that man. I never seen him out of my house. But what I will say is, for the aging as a woman, there's
Hmm.
always this projection of like when you were saying, as far as somebody's like 27, like you ain't got no kids yet. There's always this thing in for women putting our heads like this biological clock ticking in the
Yeah.
background. We not getting no younger. So literally our uterus is being washed up, right? So with that, I know that has its own pressures on inside of that, like that whole thing. And I'm over it. I'm tired because what I've seen certain people is like, yeah, I don't want to be, old mom or an old dad or this and that. I'm like, but do you still, your kids are not gonna look at you and see that you're like old. They're gonna look at everybody who's taller than them, even their brothers or sisters, and see like, oh, everybody's old. Like that's just what it is. That comes with a height thing. So if I can show you a little bit about that, okay. But I was always assumed as being like older because of my height. But even with as a woman, there's always a biological clock thing going off. Like if you don't have kids a certain time, your body will give up. But I know from a higher being that when somebody's gonna come, God gonna deliver them, period. So any woman or any man, or if they're already trying to get pregnant, which is pretty much people saying trying to get pregnant, they're just having sex and they're having a lot of it. Keep doing what you're doing with your partners. Make sure you're safe. The baby will come. Don't let anybody, I know what the doctors say, I know what they say. There's so many options, there's so many ways of in vitro and this and that. Just keep doing your thing and God will bless you and will open your womb. I know that's a struggle for people with timing. I know I've had friends and family members who has experienced that, but with the aging thing, don't let that discourage you from being a parent. If that's what you want to do it. If you want to rap, I know you want to. There's a whole Netflix thing about like a 40-year-old rapper. She was actually pretty good. 12 on Netflix, a black woman. She wanted to be a rapper and she did really well. She was pretty
I
much
gotta
had a
see that.
whole she had a whole rap album about being 40 and being black, like having hot flashes. She was really going in. So
That's funny.
I it's real useful that although it's like a age thing, like you never know how your age
Hmm.
could benefit in other areas that
Yeah.
certain people may or may not see, or if there's a voice for it, like we
Yeah.
need it. So I say
Yeah.
keep shining.
It's definitely a societal thing on so many levels. Like I know it's actually I think because rap hip hop the genre is like still new, right? So it's like it's interesting to see it get old in front of our eyes. Like this is the one music that, like we said, we see where it is now and where it started. It's like wow, it's such a like we got to see it. And what's interesting is that was a stigma, like oh, a 40-year-old rapper, like in the 2000s, that was like a thing. But like most of the highest paid rappers and stuff like that are 40, 50 years old, So yeah, back in the day in the 90s, because it was so young, Nas was 19 years old and stuff like that, rappers with Bow Wow was a kid and things like that. Now people are older now, so naturally, the age of it all is gonna have to evolve. So I'm not suggesting that anybody just start being a rap at 40. That's not what I'm saying. However, um, you probably can become successful with that. Like you probably can. So I wouldn't just outright rule it out. But I just think again, it's just more so about the wisdom and the mindset of being able to grow, like however that is, from manhood to womanhood. I know it's different for men and women. So I can't ever speak for women to say like, oh, you should do this and that. But I know as a male for myself, I know that there's certain places, certain things I just have to have for myself, for my own self-sufficiency and my own stability. It's like certain things are not acceptable to not have for my personal being, but I can't police everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's like if my credit ain't right, I feel like I'm playing. If my money ain't right at this point in my life, I feel like I'm playing. If I can't do the things that I want to do, if I want to take a trip, if I want to eat at this restaurant, I want to go here, I want to visit my family. If I can't do that, I don't like it. I don't like that feeling. So for me, that's something that drives me. But do I own a home and do I have a kid? Am I married? Things like that. No, I haven't checked those things off yet, but those are the things that I'm working towards having. And I believe that I go into that right direction and take my time and do the work. It's gonna come. So it's just a one day at a time. So Josh, you want to throw anything?
No. Everything
Okay.
sounds good. I listen, like I said, I'm doing me. There
Do
will be
you?
no washed up Jasmine no more. Like I'm doing me.
Right.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So let's bring it home. We're gonna let Granny say a prayer for us and
Okay.
all the washed up individuals out here that's feeling overwhelmed.
Because I could be like the lady with the uterus thing. Like my time
Yeah.
is clicking now. I need my man so
Right.
I can make my babies.
But yeah, but
Okay.
it is something that I think, it's always going to be an ongoing conversation with age and things like that. Even on the younger end, like what's too young to have a child? Like what's too young to be married? What's too young to be a CEO of a business? What's too young to leave home?
Mhm.
All of those things. There's so many different. It's really no right or wrong because everybody's journey is going to be different. So somebody may have started their family at 19. It could be me starting at 29 or 39. Who knows? Somebody else may have started a business or started their thing when they were 18, right out of high school, you know. But who's to say? So let's talk about it, y'all. Let's talk about it. So meet us in the comments. Shout out to Granny Aisha, Auntie Aisha
Bless your
for the
heart, baby.
attire. You got some mints in your bag?
I don't have a bag, baby. I'm home. What are you talking
Oh,
about?
you
It's
okay? Because
cold.
the old ladies keep
I ain't
the
going
keep the mints.
outside.
Okay,
And if I did, it'd be butterscotch or somebody. Hey, we ain't
butterscotch,
doing that.
butterscotch and the mints is legendary. Shout out to all the
All
mothers of the church.
right.
Mothers of the church is top five.
Amen.
But yeah, we are IJT Production. We
Mhm.
are out of here. We will see you in the next video. And do us a favor, leave us a comment. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe. Don't just come on the channel, watch our video, and leave. What kind of hospitality is that? Subscribe to the channel.
Rude.
So yeah, so we're out of here.
I
Thank
will
you for watching.
Thank you so much for watching. Please share, subscribe, and like, comment. We appreciate you all, and thank you all for watching.